welcome to the Above and Beyond Affiliate Marketing Podcast, where faith, mindset, and strategy come together to help entrepreneurs, affiliate marketers, and e commerce builders create something meaningful. Hello there, I'm your host, Jason Reiland.
And I'm Sophia. Here, we explore the ideas, principles, and conversations that help you think bigger, build smarter, and grow beyond what you thought was possible.
There's a truth that most people walk around their whole lives never understanding. It's hiding in plain sight. It's in scripture, it's in the wisest books ever written, it's in you right now, this second. And when you finally get it, when it clicks, everything changes. So today, we're diving into something that will reshape how you see yourself, your power, and what you're actually capable of creating in your life, your business, and your future. We're talking about the two words that built the universe. We're talking about I am. Now, let me start with something simple. And I really want you to sit with this. You are not just what you see in the mirror. You're not just your body, your job title, your bank account, your zip code, or your past failures or successes. There's more to you than all of that. Now, Walt Whitman said something I absolutely love. I am not all contained between my hat and my boots. Think about that for a second. Your hat is your head, your boots are your feet. So he's saying, look, there's a part of me that goes way beyond my physical body. And he was right. Thomas Troward taught this 100 years ago, and it's even more true today than ever. He said that there are two parts to I am. There's the part you can see and touch. That's the manifested part. Your body, your circumstances, your visible results. But there's also a part you can't see. It's invisible. It's the power inside you that created the visible part in the first place. That's the unmanifested part, the inner source, the seed before the tree. Now, here's the problem most people have, and this is critical. We spend 99% of our time focused on the manifested part. We're worried about the image we see. We're stressed about the circumstances in front of us. We're afraid because we're looking at limitations. But we ignore the unmanifested part, the source, the real power. It's like looking at an apple and trying to decide to understand apples by only studying the skin. You're missing the whole thing. When you forget about the inner source and only focus on the outer results, you start limiting yourself. You say, I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not connected enough. And because you're looking at limitation, you attract limitation. Now, Troward said this is the root of the problem. We cripple ourselves. We rope ourselves down with ideas about who we are, and then we wonder why we can't break free.
So, if I'm hearing you right, it's not that we lack something. It's that we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking at the results instead of the source that creates the results.
Exactly. And here's where it gets beautiful. Troward said the universe is constantly pressing forward. There's an intelligent life force, a livingness, moving through everything. And it's always pressing forward toward more expression, more creation, more of itself. It's like water always flowing downhill. It's the nature of the universe to move, to grow, to express itself, and it expresses itself through us. You are one of the ways the universe manifests itself. But here's the thing. This universal force doesn't work against us, it works with us. It works through our recognition, our understanding, our cooperation. When you recognize that you're not separate from that universal power, when you understand that you are that power in particular form, everything shifts. You stop fighting it. You stop praying like you're asking a distant God for something. You start cooperating with the power that's already inside you. Troward put it this way: your source of intelligence isn't your brain. Your source of power isn't in your muscles. Your source of purpose isn't in your circumstances. All of that comes from the same universal principle that's in everyone. It's universal, which means it as completely, entirely yours as it is anyone else's. You don't have to compete for it. You don't have to beg for it. It's already inside you. Now, here's the real power. When you get this, when you know this, you stop operating from the false belief that you're limited, weak, or stuck. Because you know the truth. You know you're tapped into infinity. The intelligence that built the human body, the power that holds the galaxies in place, the creative force that dreamed the universe into existence, that's the same thing that's running through you right now. When you recognize that, you can do something remarkable. You can align with it, you can cooperate with it. And anything that aligns with the creative force of the universe becomes unstoppable.
But, Jay, here's what I think people are wondering. If we're all tapped into the same universal power, why do some people succeed and others fail? Why does it work for some and not others?
That's the money question right there. Because the difference comes down to one thing: understanding. Troward said understanding is what gives knowledge real power. Listen to this formula, you guys. It's 3 words, and it's the foundation of everything. You might want to write this down. I am, therefore I can, therefore I will. Break that down with me. Okay, the I am is the starting point. That's the recognition of your connection to something infinite, something that has its head in heaven, connected to infinite purposes and wisdom, right? And its feet on the earth, grounded in real, practical life. It's a bridge between the spiritual and the physical, the invisible and the visible. When you start from I am, not I'm trying, not I hope, but I am, you're starting from a place of power. And then comes I can. That's the shift from identity to capability. Once you know who you are, once you know you're connected to infinite intelligence, the can't disappears. It stops being about ability. You're capable because you're tapped into infinite capability. Then comes I will. Now that's action. That's intention. That's decision. So the whole formula is I recognize my true identity connected to infinity. Therefore, I have access to everything I need. Therefore, I choose to act and create and build. Now, here's where Troward gets really practical, and this is important for anyone building a business or creating something. He said, yes, you need to operate from that high connection to infinite purpose, but you also need to be real about the requirements of today, the practical needs, the market, the person you're serving. You need to harmonize the life of high purpose with the life of present reality. In other words, keep your eyes on heaven and your feet on the ground. In business, this means have a massive vision connected to something bigger than yourself, but execute in the practical reality of what your customer needs today. Don't come up with some spiritual mumbo jumbo that sounds good but doesn't actually solve a real problem for a real person. When you operate with both infinite connection and practical reality, that's when the real creation happens. That's when you build something that lasts. And here's something most people don't understand: the practical requirements of today are real, they matter. They're not beneath you, they're not less spiritual than reaching for the stars. Feeding your family is as spiritual as prayer. Serving a customer, well, is divine as scripture. Building something useful is as holy as worship. When you stop dividing the world into spiritual and practical, when you realize they're the same thing, that's when you become integrated. That's when you become whole. That's when you become powerful. And stop being torn between two worlds. You operate from one coherent identity. And that's the person who actually builds things.
I love that. So it's not like you're choosing between being spiritual or being practical. It's understanding that when you're truly operating from I am, from that connected place, the practical stuff becomes an expression of that. It's not separate anymore.
Exactly, Sophia. And here's what Troward said about prayer, because this will completely change how you understand what prayer actually is. Prayer isn't about begging God to change his mind. It's not about convincing God of some or a distant deity that you deserve something. That's not prayer. That's manipulation dressed up as spirituality. Real prayer is alignment. It's alignment of your thinking with universal wisdom. When you pray, when you really pray, you're not trying to change God. You're training your mind to think from a higher standpoint. You're rewiring your consciousness to see the universal intelligence sees. So as you practice this, as it becomes a habit, something shifts. You start having all your plans, even the small ones, even the trivial ones that nobody sees, floating on this undercurrent of universal intelligence. Your thinking becomes aligned with the source. And when that happens, a great harmony comes into your life. You're done discordance, done with struggle, you're done with confusion. Instead, you find yourself naturally controlling and creating circumstances into the forms you desire. Not by forcing it, not by manipulating it, but by alignment. This is why so many people who meditate or pray regularly report that life becomes easier. Doors open, unexpected help arrives. Coincidence is they just multiply. And it's not magic, it's alignment. I meditate and pray all day, every day. And when your consciousness is tuned to the same frequency as the creative force of the universe, you literally attract and create things that match that frequency. Troward said something powerful here. He said, we don't command the spirit. That's not how it works. If the blind lead the blind, both end up in the ditch. You can't command what's greater than you, but you can become a companion of the spirit. You can have an intimate communion with it. And through that growing intimacy, you change. Not the spirit, you. Your perspective shifts. Your standpoint rises. You learn to think from a place of wholeness instead of lack. And when you think from wholeness, you create from wholeness. That's the practical magic of this principle. It's not mysterious. Ooh, it's how consciousness works. Our thoughts are creative. They're seeds, and you're planting them every moment. So the question becomes, what kind of seeds are you planting? Are you thinking of thoughts of limitation or of possibility? Are you operating from fear or from trust? Are you aligned with the wisdom of the universe or fighting against it? Because whatever you're thinking, whatever you're aligned with, that's what grows in your life. It's automatic. You don't have to force it. You don't have to manage it. It works on its own, like planting a seed and letting the soil do its job. That's why Troward kept saying, understand this deeply, because once you do, your life becomes a garden of your own design instead of a wasteland of random chaos.
So when someone says, I've been praying for this for years and nothing happened, maybe the issue isn't that prayer doesn't work. Maybe it's that their prayers were coming from a place of doubt or disconnection instead of actual alignment with that universal wisdom.
Now we're getting to the deepest part, and this is where everything comes together. Troward said something that changed how I see everything. He said, there aren't multiple I ams. There's only one. There's not your I am and my I am competing or separate. There's one universal principle expressing itself in infinite forms. So, whatever you believe about the great originating life force of the universe, whatever qualities you attribute to it, those same qualities belong to you. Now, let's make this concrete. Can you think of the universal intelligence as poor? How about as weak? Or universal intelligence as sorry? Or as miserable? Or as jealous? Or as angry? Or as uncertain or limited in any way? Well, no, of course not. The universe that created the galaxies and designed your body and orchestrated existence, it's not weak. It's not limited. So here's the principle. Because there's only one I am, those same qualities must be true of you. You're not weak. You are not limited. And you're definitely not small. Troward said the key is to learn to distinguish the true self that you are from the instruments that self uses to express itself. Your body is an instrument. Your mind is an instrument. Your emotions are instruments. But those aren't who you are. You are the intelligent using those instruments. You are the consciousness operating them. And when you distinguish the real from the tools you're using, something shifts. You stop being controlled by your circumstances. You stop being at the mercy of your emotions. You become the conscious creator working with these tools. George said, and I absolutely love this, as we advance in this knowledge, we come to know ourselves as unlimited. And we recognize that in the small world centered on us, our life, our influence, our creation, we are expressing the exact same overflowing joy and livingness that great universal life expresses in the whole universe. You're not small. You're not a insignificant speck. You're an individualized expression of the infinite. The universe is expressing itself as you. And whatever qualities belong to the universe, creativity, intelligence, power, love, abundance, joy, those all belong to you. Not eventually, not if you pray hard enough. Now, this very moment. That's what I am means. When you say I am, you're not making an affirmation. You're recognizing reality. You're acknowledging the truth that's always been there.
Wait, so this isn't positive thinking in the way that people usually understand it. It's not like trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. It's actually recognizing what's already true about who you really are.
Yes, that's exactly it. And that's why it's so powerful, because you're not fighting reality, you're aligning with it. You're not making something up. You're recognizing what has always been there. Most people have been hypnotized by their own mind and their own circumstances into believing they're small or they're limited or they're stuck. But hypnosis is just a story. It's not a truth. When you see through the story, when you recognize your actual nature, the hypnosis breaks and you become who you actually are. So, what do we do with this? How does I am translate in your life, your business, your relationships right now? Now, here's what I want you to do this week. Okay? Write this down. Number 1, start the day with a recognition, not an affirmation. Okay? A recognition. Before you pick up your phone, before you check your email, before your day starts drowning you, spend 2 minutes in quiet and say to yourself, I am. I am connected to infinite intelligence. I am creative. I am capable. I'm a child of God. I am infinite potential in infinite form. Don't perform it. Don't try to convince yourself of it. Just state it as fact, because it is fact. Number 2, watch your thoughts and speech, because your thoughts and words are instructions to the subconscious mind. When you say, I can't do that, you're literally programming limitation. When you say, I'm not smart enough, you're creating a ceiling. But when you say, I haven't figured that out yet, or that's something I'm learning, you're staying open to growth and connected to your source. Small words, big difference. Now, number 3, make one decision this week based on I am instead of fear. Maybe it's reaching out to somebody you've been nervous to contact. Maybe it's posting content even though you're afraid of judgment. Maybe it's proposing an idea in your business even though you're not 100% sure. One decision, one action, but from the place of I am capable and connected instead of I'm afraid and small. That one action will teach your nervous system something new. It will show your subconscious that you can move even when afraid. And it will start to rewire your identity. Number 4, notice what happens when you operate from this place. Don't just take my word for it. Test it. Observe it. What changes in you and how you feel, and how people respond to you, and what becomes possible. Because the proof isn't in my words, it's in your experience. And your experience will become your conviction. And your conviction will become your power. Now, Scripture speaks to this constantly. And I want to anchor this in faith, not just philosophy. When Jesus was asked his name, he didn't say, my name is Jesus, how are you? He said, I am. And in that moment, something happened. People fell back. Something shifted in atmosphere. Because he was speaking from the deepest truth. And then he said something that should blow your mind. Before Abraham was, I am. Not I was, not I will be someday. He said, I am. He was speaking from the eternal present of absolute reality. When Jesus turned to his disciples and said, the works that I do, you will do also, and greater works than these. Why? because you're tapping into the same source. You're recognizing the same I am that I recognize. In the book of Exodus, God tells Moses, "Tell them I am sent you." That's the name of God. Not I will be, not I was, I am. It's the eternal present. That's the creative now. And Paul said something that ties all of this together. I am crucified with Christ, yet not I, but Christ lives in me. In other words, the individual separate ego has died. What lives now is the universal consciousness expressing itself through this particular form. That's the deepest expression of I am. When your individual willpower dies, when your ego stops fighting, and then you let the divine intelligence express itself through you, that's when real power comes. That's when you become a clear channel for infinite creativity. That's when you stop asking, can I do this? And you start recognizing the universe is expressing itself as me. And therefore, yes, this isn't religion. This is the deepest spiritual principle woven through every tradition. The Sufi poets have taught it. The Buddhist monks have taught it. Hindu philosophers have taught it. And Jesus taught it. I am. That's the truth. Here's what I know after 15 years in business, after studying everything from scripture to success principles to neuroscience. The difference between people who build empires and people who stay stuck isn't luck. It's not talent. It's not connections. It's the operating system they run on. Some people are running on, I can't, I'm not enough, the world is against me. Others are running on, I am connected, I am created, everything I need exists within me. Same world, same opportunities, same challenges, but completely different results. Because one person is operating from the truth, the other is operating from a lie. So this week, I want you to choose. I want you to choose to recognize the truth. Choose I am. Not arrogantly, okay? Not to inflate your ego, but act as a recognition of reality. You are more than you thought. You are capable of more than you have ever dreamed. You have access to more intelligence, more creativity, more and more of power that you've ever tapped into, because you're connected to infinity. Don't let fear tell you otherwise. Don't let your past tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone else's limitation become your story. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself. You are infinite potential in human form. You are I am. Now, go build something. Go build something that proves it. Now, this has been episode 8 of the Hidden Power series, I Am, right here on the Above and Beyond Affiliate Marketing Podcast. I'm Jay, and I'll see you in the next one.
And I'll be here waiting. You're going to feel the shift from this episode. You might not feel it today, but if you practice those 4 action steps, if you really take them seriously, you're going to notice something different. A quiet confidence, a sense of possibility, a knowing that things are working out for you. That's the I am principle doing what it always does, working. So come back next week. We're going deeper into phase 3. We're unpacking ideas that will reshape how you see power, influence, and what's actually possible for you. hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it right now, and bring your whole self to this journey, because you're capable of more than you know. Oh, before you go, be sure to share this episode and leave a comment letting us know which part stood out the most to you, or if you have any questions. Visit our brand new website at www.theaboveandbeyondpodcast.com and make sure you sign up for our newsletter. We're sharing hints, tips, and upcoming bonuses that, trust me, you will not want to miss. This is where we're building our community and sharing what's next. And speaking of building, our new merch is available now. Check it out on the site. One more thing, we've partnered with Rock Financial to help you access the capital you need to start, scale, or expand your business. Whether you're launching a startup, you need funding for inventory, or you're ready to take your business to the next level, Rock Financial is here to help you make it happen. Head over to www.10url.com/aboveandbeyondfunding to apply for business funding. And here's the bonus. When you use this link, we'll automatically send you a guide on exactly how to get approved for funding every single time. That's a value we don't give anywhere else. This is about building something real with the right support behind you. And I will see you in the next episode. Don't tell Jay, but I will give you a little hint of what it is. It's affirmative power. It's all part of the nature of the creative process. See you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.